Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you why this weekend proved the one and done has been a disaster for college basketball.
And I'm Colin Cowherd, and I'll tell you why we just got even more evidence. LeBron is leaving Cleveland. Speak for yourself starts now. I am convinced. I'm buying season tickets right now for the Lakers.
I thought we got proof that LeBron's tough on coaches. Hello and welcome. We're joined today by Fox NBA analyst Chris Broussard and longtime NBA player Ryan Hollins. Let's start with the Cleveland Cavaliers, who announced today that coach Tyronn Lue would step away from the team to deal with health issues, leaving assistant Larry Drew in charge for the time being. According to David Aldridge, Lue could return to the bench next week, and today LeBron addressed how the coach's absence will affect LeBron's ability to coach the team.
We're going to find out, but obviously it's a tough, it's like losing one of your best players, obviously, a guy that's the, pretty much, the captain of our ship and, has run the thing for the last 3 years, but, everyone has to step up, and we have coaches in place that's ready for that challenge, and we have to do our job as players as well. But like I said, his health is most important, and look forward to when he comes back.
Well, at least one person, our buddy Doug Gottlieb, isn't buying what LeBron is selling, tweeting, quote, "Is a knife in your back a health-related reason?" Asking for a friend. Cowherd, is it fair to blame LeBron here?
Yeah, I mean, there's a stress going on in Cleveland, and it is all permeating due to LeBron. It's hard to be great, and it's hard to coach great. Ask Paul Westhead with the Lakers, Doug Collins with MJ. Ask Belichick with Brady, and vice versa. To get to that level is hard, and to coach that level is hard. And now players get gassed up, social media, and they all got, shoe deals and TV commercials and Hollywood deals. I think LeBron's hard to coach. And I think, like any human being, now that he's got 3 teams, Lakers, Sixers, Rockets, billboards, we want you, I think he's even harder to coach because he's got great options outside.
Yeah, we just saw the video, this weekend of LeBron yelling at Tyronn Lue. And so, I don't think this is analogous to Magic and Paul Westhead or Michael Jordan and Doug Collins, because eventually Magic settled in nicely with Pat Riley. Jordan settled in nicely with Phil Jackson. This is year 15, and LeBron's on, his 12th coach or something. So there is a pattern here. And I'm gonna let y'all go, and then I'm gonna circle back to a second point.
Is LeBron hard to coach? Yes. It comes with massive pressure. We know he's tough. He's gonna break plays and do what he wants. Kobe Bryant broke plays. All superstars break plays. Kobe hardly ever ran the triangle. I mean, he did what he wanted to do. The payoff, though, is spectacular. The payoff is, guess what? Ty Lue has a championship. He's coached, 3 years? Guess what? Ty Lue got a 5-year, $35 million contract extension.
That's nice.
The pressure is it's title or bust with LeBron, and if you don't win it or you don't go really far, you're going to get blamed. And I don't believe this is the case, but if Ty Lue can't coach the team because LeBron yelled at him, if that's why he walked away, he's not built for this anyway. So, no, LeBron doesn't deserve blame at all.
Chris, I can't let you do that, man, because I know for a fact from being in that locker room with Ty Lue, he's a stand-up guy. If he's stepping away, it's for something real. I lost my father because of chest pains in his heart. So when I hear something like that, I'm alarmed as a friend, as a former player, and have big respect to him as a coach. And I agree. This is part of the show. You knew LeBron brings the circus. You knew he's the only player. You talked about Kobe. You talked about Mike. He understands he's bigger than the organization. He's bigger than basketball. So LeBron is going to let that be known. Is he a malicious guy? No. Is it a knife in the back, Gottlieb? No. I can't say that. Think about it. Think about LeBron's character. He went back to Cleveland because he cares that much. So he wants Ty to get better, and I think this is something that Cleveland really rallies around.
He also went back for control. I want to ask this question.
Well, he does have control.
LeBron,
and that's difficult to do. I agree.
And it's but I want to ask this question, honestly. David Aldridge has said Ty Lue is going to be back in a week. Yeah. They play tonight against Milwaukee, I think Wednesday against Toronto, and then I think Phoenix and someone else beatable. If they go 4-0 or if they win tonight and beat Toronto, or just have success while Ty Lue's gone, do we think there's a possibility Ty Lue never gets that job back?
No,
I don't buy that.
No.
Because anybody would know that this is not about Ty Lue. Their struggles, their mediocre play is not about Ty Lue. It's about all the changes that they've had. Now, I agree. Look, he's got to get them to buy in defensively. I think they will in the playoffs. And I do agree with Ryan. I do think they'll rally around this. It might be a let's do it for T. Lue type.
Let me clarify my point. I think this is about, part of it's about his health. It's about the stress he's under. But I think that argument between he and LeBron is a symptom of a bigger, disagreement on how we're going to play with these new players. And LeBron's running out of time in order to install the way he wants to play before the playoffs. Because to me, I'm not sure if LeBron has given up on this season, but I do think he's given up on the way they're approaching these new players. And if I see anything over these next 4 games, it looks like they've changed their style of play while Ty's away, and it works. I think it's tough for Ty.
As the LeBron apologist on this set, let me take, not a shot, but the LeBron this year. If you were in a job and you were at this job and didn't have other offers, you deal with a crappy boss and lousy hours and less vacation than you want. But if 3 other companies came after you, you're going to make it be heard about your lousy hours and your crappy boss. You got teams in this league now putting up billboards for LeBron. You got LeBron for the first time shouting out a coach when he knows it's going to be on TV. You have LeBron for the first time being not passive-aggressive, aggressive on social media. Is it fair to say LeBron's very human? He's got multiple teams with better rosters, billboards, we want you, and he's like, I'm now going from passive-aggressive to aggressive.
Here's the problem with that. They didn't have to put up the billboards for LeBron to know he could go there. LeBron knows, forget those 3, 29 other teams in the league for the most part, other than throwing Golden State, would clear whatever cap space they have to get LeBron. So this is not new to him. This isn't a revelation like 2 weeks ago. Oh, Philly wants me? The Lakers want me? He knows he can go wherever he wants, so I don't think that's
window is short, and LeBron wants to play a certain way. That's my read on it.
But listen, this is why T. Lue is the coach. I was with him, like I said, in Boston and L.A. He was our defensive coach. He is a sound coach defensively. We had a top defense with the Celtics, and in L.A. we were improving, but he brought a system to what we had. He knows the X's and O's. The defense is not Ty Lue's fault. Yeah. I've seen what he can do in the locker room, and the reason that he has that head job is because he's willing to look down that bench and say, LeBron, pass the ball. LeBron, better yourself. Something that happened in Miami and that he was able to succeed for.
And how often does LeBron deal with that type of public criticism? You don't think there's nothing to this shouting match on the sideline?
Nothing?
Listen, you have 2 of the greatest competitors. Ty Lue won rings as a player, 1 rings as a coach. LeBron, you're not great without having that competition. So that's expected. That happens, yes. You don't want to do it in front of everybody, but that's how passionate those 2 were about the scenario.
Hi, it's Colin Cowherd. You're listening to the Speak for Yourself podcast, and this show is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings loves a Cinderella story, the tale of the underdog, the unexpected, and by their unexpected nature, you just can't predict when one's going to happen. It makes them great, also makes them frustrating, because at any moment, you could miss that Cinderella sighting. Unless you're about spending March Madness at B-Dubs, the official hangout for NCAA March Madness. Here, you'll catch every second of every game. You'll be able to look back, tell the story of the team you watch, climb their way from the low seed to the championship, but only if you go to Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Now, back to the show. All right, to March Madness, which is earning its nickname this year with several major upsets through the first weekend, including one we'd never seen before, a 16 seed, UMBC. I had to Google it, blowing out 1 seed Virginia by 20 Friday night. And that was a blowout. After the game, UVA coach Tony Bennett took a practical approach to his team's historic loss.
You'll remember this, it'll sting. Maybe a 1 seed will get beat again, maybe not. Maybe we'll be the only 1 seed to ever lose. It's life, it goes on. So we'll have to get past that. For some reason, this is what we've got to deal with. And my job now will be to say, hey, how do we bounce back with our players and all that, but a life lesson is sitting there about defining yourself by maybe not what the world says, but there's other things that matter, and then you get back to it.
All right. The Cinderella story ended last night. Close loss to Kansas State. Whitlock, will their upset win, define the tournament?
Yeah, I actually think it will. I think we will always remember this 16 beating the 1 seed because I think it draws a line in the sand and leaves a line of demarcation about college basketball has changed. The gap between the worst teams in the tournament and the best teams in the tournament has shrunk incredibly. And so I think we will always remember, because I think in the next 4 years, this will happen again. We went, I think, 135 games without it ever happening. And now I think once every 3-4 years, it's going to happen. And it's because, again, it's hard to create greatness in college basketball. Things are so unstable. I think all teams are vulnerable. And so, yeah, I think this will be remembered for a long time.
You do get they didn't beat Phi Slamma Jamma.
That's my point.
Thank you.
This is Phi Snooza Palooza. Okay. Virginia was down 7. I'm like, game's over. They can't come back. I don't know. I mean, listen, we've had multiple 15s beat 2s. It's just a number. The spread on this game was 20. You know, this wasn't like Alabama playing Troy. It's a 44-game spread in football. I look at this and I just think, you know, it was an upset, but we've had so many great upsets. Here's the reality. Years ago, Ralph Sampson, the most dominant college player of my life, lost to a NAIA school, Chaminade. So that was NBA star losing to scrubs. This was 25 guys, none of them NBA guys. Yep. It was just dudes playing hoops. So it just doesn't...
Get used to it. That's my point. That's why it's going to be remembered, is because this is the point, the breaking point to me for college basketball. It's hard to create greatness as long as college basketball is this unstable, this controlled by scandal, this controlled by the one-and-done culture. The kids, from mid-majors all the way to the top, they're distracted. They don't buy in as much. They don't believe in college basketball.
Also, we have a lot more transferring.
Yes.
So it's, to your point, there's a lot of transferring now, and so these programs, like these Wisconsin, you wake up the next day and you lost your third best player.
I agree with most of what you said, but here's the thing. This is why I think it may not be defined by this game. There are 2 11 seeds left, 2 9 seeds, 2 7 seeds. If one of these 9 or 11 seeds wins it all, or say 2 11s get to the Final Four, that's what it'll be defined by, I think, more so than the upset. And I think that 16-1 upset will be a part of it, but I think the whole tournament will be remembered for what you said. A new era is coming in college ball because the only big-time talent in the tournament are freshmen who have half of their ideas, their thoughts on the NBA. They can't mesh with their teammates well enough to be a good team. So the best teams are sophomores, juniors, seniors, most of whom aren't NBA caliber talent. So like you said, the gap is small.
Fellas, I agree. There's nothing sexy about this Virginia team. It was like watching paint dry, okay? I think back to those Washington State days. Washington State would run the Pac-10 at the time, and we would beat them handily because we were like watching paint dry at UCLA. We played a slow style of offense, so it was almost a setup game. And when we played Florida in the championships, they were free and loose. They ran into a buzzsaw. So that same Brad Bennett basketball.
The coach at Washington State was Tony Bennett when you were doing that.
Yeah,
exactly, and Brad was there, so that's what I'm saying. Similar situation. Is Coach K not still in the tournament? Okay, are all these other big-name teams still not looming, still not having a chance? Kentucky knocked out, so there's still names. I agree, though. The talent pool is getting bigger and better, so you got a point, Jay.
Reality is, you love college basketball.
Yes.
You watch it during the regular season.
Yes.
And because I'll ask you about random games, and you're either a gambling degenerate or you love college basketball.
Both.
Okay, that's fair. I was saying on my radio show today, I said, it's like there used to be college basketball was a 4-star hotel. Now it's a 2-star. It used to be that you could pay $80 for a room or $600, and the $600 had NBA guys. This hotel is no longer as good because the penthouse and the suites, they're $100 and the bad rooms are $80. To your point, the gap.
Yes.
And what hurts is I love college basketball Some of these games, Syracuse, Michigan State, the last 30 minutes of real time was hard to watch. Now, I think upsets are fine. I don't want to be too hyperbolic, but I will say this about your point. It is the quality of play. I mean, this is Kentucky's worst team. They almost look like a shoo-in to get to the Final Four.
Well, they are now, but to your point, when UMBC pulled off this incredible upset, and they blew out the #1 team in the country, blew them out, and then comes back against a Kansas State team, and I worked in Kansas City for a long time. Kansas State fans can't stand Bruce Weber, can't stand their college team, think it's no good, think Bruce Weber's underachieving. And UMBC basically, you can blow out the #1 team one game, and then 2 days later, you can't really compete against a Kansas State team that Kansas State fans don't like. UMBC, we will be saying UMBC 20 years from now when we start talking about, college basketball, the tournament used to be this and this. And because this is what I'll say, it's like expectations dictate happiness. And the anticipation of a great upset, seeing the history of a great upset, is now been removed from the NCAA. We've seen it now. We know what it looks like. And so the upsets, to me, as we move on years from now, are going to be less satisfying, less a big deal, because we've seen the 16 take on a 1, and I just think it's going to become virtually commonplace.
Well, you got to understand, there's trends in college basketball. You win in college basketball with guard play. UMBC had 2 seniors who could get the job done. Jarius Lyles is a legit player. I think he's going to have a big-time shot to be pro, if not guaranteed. And then you got
Bowles' son was
exactly,
pretty good.
and you got freshmen and sophomores, playing for Virginia. Yeah. So what you call this is a setup game. The team who ran through their league, did their due diligence, well coached, and they play a tempo spread and wide, contradictory to what you want to do. And you saw Virginia getting out of their element going, we got to play fast? Brad, we don't know how to do this. What do we do? So, setup game.
Well, and also when you play slow, it nullifies the talent difference even more.
Yes.
All right, welcome back. Let's move to Tiger Woods, who had another nice showing this weekend, finished tied for 5th at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. At one point, Tiger actually got within a shot of the lead on Sunday before dropping out of contention with bogeys at 16 and 17, sort of unraveled late. Whitlock, he's your guy. After this rough finish, are you less confident in Tiger heading into the Masters?
I'm not less confident in Tiger at all. Tiger Woods, against really good competition, had a top 5 finish. Ricky Fowler finished below him. A lot of really good players finished below him. Rory McIlroy wins it. Justin Rose is right in there in the top 5. I'm not less confident in Tiger. Tiger's right on schedule or ahead of schedule. What I am, though, is more convinced that these young guys, Rory, Justin Rose,
Spieth,
Jason Day, these guys have been dying to play against this Tiger Woods and to have this type of attention on golf. And I think they're going to elevate their play, not melt because Tiger's there and all the cameras are there and all the attention is there. I think they want Tiger Woods in contention so they can beat him and get the accolades and the attention that this is the PGA they thought they were joining years ago. With Tiger Woods, they thought they were going to be along the ride for the rest of history that Tiger was going to create. And I think the younger guys are going to elevate their play, not melt the way people talk about Tiger's peers melted when he was at the top of the leaderboard. I think they're going to elevate. Rory just did it, shot a 64 on Sunday, was incredible on the back 9, ran away from this thing, and Tiger Woods and everybody else. I think that's what I'm looking forward to at the Masters, the young guys stepping up to the pressure.
I don't know if they will. Here's the funny thing. On Tiger's comeback, we've said, well, he's a victim. He's going to face himself. Young guys in shape, long off the tee. But Tiger also has an advantage because he's really a different generation. He may look in shape. He's old school. These are new school guys. These are replications of Tiger. Have you noticed something about all these young guys? Tiger made all these young guys richer. And richer wealth punctures drive. Rory McIlroy disappeared for 2 years. Jordan Spieth just missed a cut. Tiger got these guys money that wasn't available. I'm not sure they're as driven as Tiger. Tiger's got an old school drive. I don't think they have.
I think your point is accurate, but I think you're missing something. Tiger got them the money, but what they were also supposed to get with Tiger was the fame. And they haven't gotten it because Tiger hasn't been there to give them the fame of they beat Tiger Woods. And so this is an ego-driven deal as much as it is, you're right. In my view, Tiger's peers got spoiled by the money. And they were along for the Tiger ride, and it was great, and they made more money than they could ever imagine. These guys came in, the young guys, they came in just in time. They came in making so much money that the money doesn't move them. They want the fame. They want to be as famous as Tiger Woods. Again, a lot of these guys, Justin Thomas, most people couldn't recognize him in a police line.
But I don't believe fame drives people, just like I don't think money does. When you were at your best as a columnist, it wasn't about fame and it wasn't about money. You had people in your life. It was about your childhood. It wasn't about the money on the wall.
You're talking about, I'm a 50-year-old man, Colin. What about these kids out here that are addicted to social media? You don't think that's about their ego
By
and
the way,
fame?
you know why they're not going to be Jack? Because they're driven by fame. Tiger wasn't driven by fame. He was driven by his father, the chase, his love for golf. Like, if fame's your driver, that's not much of a vehicle. I mean, I don't think that takes you to the next level.
For you and I and that generation, it's not much of a vehicle. But for these young people, again, when I look across the board at what's driving the actions of a lot of these athletes, and I don't want to go political here, but it's just a side point. If you just look at what's driving a lot of the social justice warrior athletes, even a LeBron James, a lot of it's about fame and popularity over social media. Again, they're addicted to Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and all this.
So you think they can snap their fingers, these Jordan Spieths, and reignite?
No. Yes. But I don't even think it's a reignitement. Look, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jason Day, Justin Rose, all these, it's not about a reignition. It's about when that moment comes at the Masters and all that pressure and all that attention's there, I think these guys will be like, damn, this is what I wanted all along. It's finally here. Tiger's brought us back here. And I think they're going to elevate their play because, again, they want to sit and tell their kids or grandkids or tell the people over social media or tell advertisers, I took out Tiger Woods when Tiger Woods was playing well. Elevates their fame, elevates their ability to draw just as much sponsorship and advertising as Tiger Woods and make his kind of money. These guys want to be Tiger Woods, and to be Tiger Woods, you got to take him down. They love this. All right, welcome back. Ryan Hollins is back, and we're joined now by the founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's return to college basketball, where we just saw one of the craziest opening weekends in the history of the tournament, with buzzer beaters, big comebacks, and even bigger upsets, including 1 seeds UVA and Xavier going down, along with other top teams like 2-seed UNC and 3-seed Michigan State. In fact, this year's tournament has seen upsets at historic levels, giving us the first region ever without a top 4 seed in the Sweet 16 and marking just the 4th time 2 1 seeds have lost before the Sweet 16 and the 4th time 2 11 seeds have made it that far. Cowherd, will the rest of the tourney be as entertaining as this past weekend?
It'll be better because I'll actually know the teams, the coaches, and the players. I like movies where I know the actor. I like plays where I know the actor. And I like Duke and Kentucky, and I'm going to see Kansas, and I'm going to see Mark Few and Gonzaga. I am, I think, not to be contrarian, but I've never loved the upsets. I like the traditional powers. I don't want to watch the Fiesta Bowl. We had it with TCU and Boise State one year. Nobody watched. I want to see Georgia play Oklahoma and Ohio State. So now I get a condensed version of mostly really big teams and a few outliers.
You're getting big teams. No question about it. You're not getting great teams. That's
True.
my point.
True.
And then 2, look, there's only one upset left on the table, I think, in terms, and it's not really an upset. I think 2-seed Duke plays 11-seed Syracuse. Anything else that happens the rest of this tournament won't be remotely surprising. Again, anything, I think it's the South region. Any damn thing could happen there, and it's not a surprise. If they reinvigorated a 16 seed and put them back in the tournament, it wouldn't be a surprise. So I don't think it's going to be the people that want to see the upsets and the dramatic games that are meaningful, not happening.
Well, have you looked at the Vegas spreads, guys? The Duke-Syracuse is the only double-digit spread. The rest are 6 and under. So Vegas expecting a lot of close games. Though I'm going to push back on you, Jason. You wouldn't be shocked if Nevada somehow beat Kentucky?
No.
Nevada. You would not be surprised by that?
No, I've watched Kentucky all year. Anybody can beat Kentucky.
Kentucky can't shoot.
No,
This is true, but again, we're talking about Kentucky, one of the blue bloods of college basketball, losing to possibly Nevada or Loyola of Chicago. That would be a colossal shock.
That sounds bigger than the reality of what it is.
Yeah.
It does sound huge,
exactly, yeah.
but I don't think it would be. What's the line on that game? 6?
Probably 5 or 6, yeah.
I agree, though, Colin. I think you're reading my notes earlier, but nobody wants to see I don't want to disrespect you. Nobody wants to see these unknown mid-majors in the championships. And I'm going to go back to your point earlier. This is a Steph Curry, LeBron James pyramid scheme. And I say that, why? Because all these parents see Steph Curry, LeBron James, and they go, oh, we can get rich quick. We can get a $100, $200 million contract. All these kids play basketball at a young age. So now what happens with a pyramid scheme when it goes wrong? It gets oversaturated. And now you see this in college basketball. But I completely agree. I'm going to say something I never thought I would say. I'm going to be cheering for Kentucky as a UCLA guy. I'm going to be cheering for Duke because I want to see an entertaining Final Four and championship. I don't want to see, I'm sorry, Nevada. I don't want to see Nevada. I don't want to see K-State. I don't want to see any of these unknown teams in the championship.
Yeah, but you say that, Ryan, and then the games happen, and Nevada storms back from down 20, and you're like, oh, my gosh. You watched Texas Tech, Florida. Did you watch that Saturday night? That game was unbelievable. It was separated by 5 points, like most of the way, back and forth, players putting their careers on the line. Because a lot of these guys, they're not going to the NBA. Maybe they'll play in Europe.
I think of the Drew League. Everybody knew the Drew League. We would go out. It wasn't a big deal. The Drew League blew up when Harden, LeBron, Durant, all these pros got in the league. So if you take the future professional basketball players out of this NCAA tournament, we're not going to have much to talk about. Oh, man, he's going to have a great 10-year career overseas. No, you got to see the pros. You want to see these kids shine. Go Duke. Let's go.
I do think the tournament is a bit dependent upon Duke.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Viewership, ratings.
Again, but I'm not sure and it's Grayson Allen and Marvin Bagley and Coach K. But the rest of this, I'm just sorry. Even though they have big names, Kansas, again, I spent 16 years following Kansas very closely. Devontae Graham that ain't Paul Pierce. that ain't even Jock Vaughn to me. Seriously. So again, we're dependent on Duke, and then a bunch of teams that have big names, even Kentucky. Most of the players, this isn't Karl Anthony Towns at Kentucky this year. Yeah. There's some good players and things, and there's some big name schools. But in terms of what you really want to see,
no, it's been diluted. I'm watching yesterday Texas A&M, which has a bunch of NFL players, and Texas A&M has no NBA players of note except DeAndre Jordan played for a year. So it's a football school more than basketball. And I'm watching a basketball power North Carolina. A&M had way better players. So I do think what you're seeing, to your point, it's diluted. Is the good players are out quickly. College basketball is a little bit like an airport. You land, nobody wants to stay there overnight. You're looking for the first flight out of town. And if you do have to stay, you're not happy about it. By and large, the players with real talent land in this sport, and they're looking at the classes they've got to take and they can't wait to
connecting flight.
Williams would be a pro, Colin. Williams would be a pro.
All right, to a 1 seed that isn't having any problems, Villanova. Yeah, they just steamrolled Radford in the first round, then demolished Alabama on Saturday night. Man, can they pass. Cruising to the Sweet 16 with an average margin of 24.5 points. Whitlock, is Nova the best team left in the field?
I do believe they're the best team left in the field. But I don't think the margin is so wide that there's not every team, all the other 15 teams left in the field are capable of beating Villanova. I've watched Villanova a lot this season. I've seen Butler beat them. I've seen them have. They're capable, just like any other team, of having an off performance and getting beat. And again, that's true with a lot of teams in past. But again, I don't think it's going to take some heroic, remarkable performance to take out Villanova.
You know, it's interesting. For years and years, Rolly Massimino won a title, and there was a lot of pressure. About 4 or 5 years ago in Jay Wright, like there was kind of a sense that they weren't getting there. About 4 years ago, that program popped, and they're the anti-Kentucky. The one and done's kind of fascinating. Calipari embraces it. Rises. Duke, no, we're not going to do it. Then starts struggling and embrace it. Villanova, from the very beginning, was like, no, we can't get those guys. We're not going to get those guys. And I noticed this with Villanova and Gonzaga. They've gone anti-Kentucky. The one thing I like about that, there are more than one way to win. You can go chase Duke, Kentucky, the 5 stars. But you know the last 5 years who's gotten consistently more than Kentucky in this Sweet 16? Gonzaga and Villanova. They're like, we can't get them. We are going to have 3-star guys that stay for 3 years. This is the one thing I like about the tournament. It's showing you, yes, I agree with you, the top-end talent's not there. But man, Wichita State now is a top 10 program. Gonzaga's a top 10 program. Villanova's a top 4 program. I like the idea of more than one way to win this thing.
I like Villanova, but their draw is brutal. Okay, they might be the best team. They might not get past West Virginia. I'm going to go with Duke, guys. I really do believe Duke is the team we've overlooked. The tournament started.
Is that because of the draw, or you think they're the best team?
I think Duke is the best team in the tournament. They've got the best player left, right? Marvin Bagley. He's a top 5 pick.
Yes.
They also have Grayson Allen, who's a 4-year starter, basically. They've also got another 7-footer, Wendell Carter. He's going to be taken in the first round. They've got a lot of talent. People
Gary
just
Trent.
aren't talking. Gary Trent as well. They're just, everybody saw the draw and saw Michigan State. Oh, they're loaded. Tom Izzo. And Michigan State's gone. I think Duke destroys Syracuse. I think they're the best team left. I think they get to the final.
You know, it's interesting. I'm on the Duke bandwagon now. I interviewed Wendell Carter and Gary Trent Jr. yesterday, and there was something interesting that I've never heard from them, is that they have a chip on their shoulder. They feel like an underdog, and I'm like, Duke team and underdog? Gary Trent Jr. was a guy who wasn't super highly recruited. He blasted at that top 100 camp, came on the scene. Marvin Bagley's always been a stud, but he's very coached. I think he's a more complete player right now than DeAndre Ayton. He's more NBA ready. So I'm watching this Duke team. I say that they have a chip on their shoulder. Coach K a little fired up. So I'm believing in Duke, brother. I'm agree.
I think this is a great point you made, because when the tournament started, Virginia, they won the ACC. Everybody's talking Virginia. Then the bracket comes out. Michigan State, Kansas, the #1 seed. Nobody mentioning Duke. They're kind of an underdog here. And now we're talking about Villanova. I mean, Whitlock, you've seen a lot of Villanova. Are they getting past Duke? Are you really sure?
I think they are. I think they are.
Again, anything can happen with the rest of these teams.
And Michigan could end up in the final.
Anything can happen. I saw a nugget, we'll end on this. I saw a nugget before we started the show. Only one power conference regular season champion is still in the tournament.
Yes.
Kansas. They're the only, everybody else that won their conference is out of the tournament. And this again goes back to my other point about the regular season is so devalued in college basketball. I just don't think that's good for the long-term health.
Welcome back. Jason McIntyre is back, now joined by Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson. Let's move to New England, where apparently Whitlock's going to love this. The end of the season didn't bring an end to the reported feud between Belichick and just about everybody else. According to a new report, this has to be a Whitlock plant, Belichick is making life miserable for Tom Brady and Gronk, with continued conflict over Brady's trainer and friend Alex Guerrero, who's no longer allowed to treat players at Gillette Stadium. Whitlock, are you buying this report?
Yeah, look, I don't know if he's making life miserable. Again, I just go back to the Malcolm Butler decision has ruined Bill Belichick's impeccable reputation amongst his players.
Ruined?
Yeah, ruined. Again, dude, what he did in that Super Bowl is analogous to cheating in a marriage. And again, marriages survive cheating, but they ain't never the same. And there's always somebody sleeping with their eye open. And so that's what's happened here. Belichick has preached for years. Winning the Super Bowl and winning a game, do your job, blah, blah, blah. Nothing personal. It's always, and this Malcolm Butler decision to bench him, there's every player in that locker room was like, well, that wasn't a football decision, man. That wasn't the best decision for us to win that game. And so he broke the trust. And when you're Tom Brady at 40, when you're Rob Gronkowski, given all the injuries he's gone through, when you're making those kind of sacrifices to play this game, and the coach is telling you it's all about the Super Bowl, it's all about what's doing right to win, and then all of a sudden you catch him in a lie, and then you never look at him the same way again.
By the way, it's been 15, 16 years.
Well.
Brady's gone Hollywood a little. Gronk wants to be a pro wrestler. Are we sure it's all on Belichick?
Yeah, I am, because those are players doing what players do. Belichick sets the tone, sets the rules, asks everyone to buy in, and he broke the trust.
You think they're miserable?
Yeah, I think it starts with Belichick not wanting to trade Garoppolo. I think it started right there. And look at it like this here. Tom Brady was a 6th-round draft pick.
Right.
He has a chip on his shoulder. I can go back to Joe Montana, who's a 3rd-round draft pick. Do you think he was happy when Steve Young came in and took his job and won a Super Bowl? No. Do you think that Brett Favre was happy when he's a 2nd-round draft pick, got traded to Atlanta, traded back to Atlanta, Green Bay? Do you think he was happy when Aaron Rodgers came and took his job? No. And I think Tom Brady feels the same way, looking over his shoulder. Hey, he did not want to trade this guy. He traded for a 2nd-round draft pick, and San Francisco paid him $27 million. Come on, it's something going on there.
Eric, you went back to the Garoppolo trade. I'm going to go back further, okay? Bill Belichick is the son of a World War II veteran, okay? His dad coached at the Naval Academy, I believe, for like 30 years. Very militant household that he grew up in, okay? So now it's like, hey, my way or the highway, okay? And that's been Bill Belichick's mantra at New England. You go into the meetings, you hear the stories. Man, he treats Tom Brady the same way he treats the gunner on special teams. Total dressing down in the meetings, cursing him out. You guys remember Ocho Cinco came out and was like stunned at how Bill Belichick treats his players. Everybody's equal. But now what's happening? You look around the locker room, they might as well wear name tags, okay? They dumped the left tackle, dumped Dion Lewis, the Malcolm Butler, Danny Amendola. Tom Brady looks around, where are my guys? Where are the guys that I've been with forever? And I just think Bill Belichick runs it the way he wants, and I don't think these guys are happy.
Well, you saw what Gronk said to Amendola in a text. Hey, be free, be happy. I'm free, be free. Thank God.
You saw Dion Lewis cry when he was introduced by the Tennessee Titans, saying, people didn't want to believe in me. They want to give up on me. I mean, I don't think anybody's happy in that New England locker room.
I agree with you.
I think you've made an excellent point, but I connected all to Malcolm Butler in terms of what Bill Belichick's my way or the highway approach works when the highway ends at the Super Bowl and holding the Lombardi trophy. Once it exited before getting the Lombardi trophy, people are like, oh, my way or the highway. You just drove us off the highway, Bill. F you.
I'm gonna ask you a question. Okay, let's say you could win 8 Lombardi trophies, or you could win 5. Now you can win 8 and be miserable as hell, or you can win 5 and be happy at another team. What would you rather have?
I'd rather have the 5 and be happy.
There you go. I think that's a lot of guys think. I'd rather be happy than be here.
I'd rather have 8 and be miserable.
See that?
I would rather win.
It comes to, but when you play sports, it's about having fun. It's not about being
I think it's you played in the NFL, so I'll defer to you. But it's got to be 50-50. You have to have fun and want to win.
Exactly, you want to do both, but you don't want. It's great to win. That's fantastic. But when you're not having fun,
you lose all these starters. You lose your defensive coordinator. It's tough to keep that together.
To your point, Jason, I can make this argument. Though I don't think he's lost the locker room. Brady he carried a lot of Bill's water and a lot of his messaging.
Yeah.
The one thing I think is important to think is if you lost Tom, you lost your mailman. The neighborhood lost its mailman.
Again, it's like the general lost his drill instructor.
Right.
That's who Tom was.
That's a valid
And so
point,
when you lose, and when Tom, we didn't even put this in there, but Tom this weekend's on Instagram, Malcolm Butler, my brother for life. And all that's Tom this week. There's a clear deal like, man, the general screwed us over. I'm more with Malcolm Butler than I am with Bill Belichick. And again, it's hard to be a general when your soldiers abandon you. And that's what Belichick is about to find out. Again, his relationship, you can get all into Belichick and he can forget that without Tom Brady as his underboss, as the guy that's whipping the troops into form, he's nothing. And I really mean that. He's an all-time, but without Brady, he's nothing. So, I think Sonny found that out when Cher left.
Don't forget, Jason. Remember, he lobbied as hard as he could to keep Josh McDaniels away from leaving the team because Belichick knows, as you said, he's all alone on this island right now. He's got nobody left. He lost Brady, as you said. And by the way, Tom Brady's making $15 million a year, taking pay cuts so this team could continue to win. And now he's getting rid of all of Brady's guys. That's a little disrespectful, Eric, on some level.
See, again, I think you're missing the point, though. He is taking $15 million. He's making the ultimate sacrifice. Yeah. He's looking at guys making 28, 30. Kirk Cousins is making them, and Belichick let him down in the Super Bowl. The reason why he makes that sacrifice is so they can win Super Bowls, and Belichick did something stupid that these guys believe cost him the Super Bowl. And he won't apologize for it. He won't explain it. It's the most arrogant. Could you imagine getting caught cheating by your wife and said, baby, I ain't giving you no explanation. I just did it. See how long the marriage lasts.
All I know is if the Patriots start next year 2-8, he's going to be in Tulsa.
Welcome back. Time for last call. Let's move to the NCAA tournament, where Florida State coach Leonard Hamilton grabbed one of his players during a timeout in their upset win over top seed Xavier last night. Cowherd, do you have an issue with Hamilton's behavior here?
Yeah, I don't like it. Why wouldn't he do that if he coached in the NBA? Because he knows he can't do it. Guys do that when they know they can. I don't like it.
I loved it, and sometimes kids need to be grabbed around the collar. I needed to be grabbed around my collar. Did you see that Big Baby video? He needs to be grabbed by his collar. Did you see what happened with Big Baby this week?
I did.
That video he put out.
So you like that?
I love it. And again, it's not something you want to do every day. You don't want to be Bobby Knight and have this part of your permanent repertoire. But at some point, yeah, and dealing with kids today, I just think that's the tough love that kids need. You know, my dad probably, my mother's watching, but my dad probably loved me more than anybody. And he almost never said anything positive to me. And it's because he loved me. Seriously, he can criticize anything.
Do you think it damaged you at all?
Hell no. It made me tough. It made me motivated.
I see you cry a lot. I don't think you're that tough.
That's my mother's side of the raising. My mother just loved everything I did. She still does. All right, well, elsewhere in the tourney, Michigan advanced to the Sweet 16 after beating Houston on a buzzer beater by Jordan Poole, who kicked his legs out on the shot. Cowherd, should this be a foul? These guys kick.
What, is that what Twitter is saying? This was great. Hold on, let me see. So you think this is a foul?
No, I don't. I actually think it should be an offensive foul.
What?
Because these guys are doing this, kicking their legs out and falling to the ground and drawing these cheap fouls. They didn't get called there, but I saw it all during the NCAA. I've seen it all season. Guys falling down, kicking their legs out, and the ref blows a whistle.
Oh, you mean so a creative?
It's flopping.
It's what?
Flopping.
No, he's a creative offensive player that was trying to create contact.
Yeah, flopping. And it should be an offensive foul. The contact was created by the offensive player.
So you want that basket taken away?
Hell yes. Yes, I do.
You think if we didn't have that basket, the tournament would be better?
No, yes, because we'd be arguing about whether they should have called that or not and whether Michigan should have won the game. That should not have counted.
Were you betting the other team or what happened?
Listen, I'm a Michigan fan. I was rooting for Michigan, but yes, I did have money on the other team.
It's the shot of the tournament. That's it for us. See you tomorrow.